Good afternoon, folks. This is Marius from mariuslandman.com and from the Twitter handle landm_Marius. We are the only authentic Twitter handle account in the entire world, and please make sure that you do follow us there. Okay, just quickly, this is going to be an update from the Litecoin video that I did earlier. I think it was last month that we did it, and I showed you the historical view of Litecoin. Now what I'm going to do is to give you a little bit more confidence and show you what we see in Litecoin. We see Litecoin reaching $1,000 and beyond, and in years to come, in the next 2 to 4 years, we even see Litecoin reaching a $20,000 mark per Litecoin. You have to understand that Litecoin is only 408 days old approximately. At one point we had Microsoft, we had Google, we had Apple. Those coins were at one stage 30 cents, $1, $5, and these stocks are 30 years old and more. So you look at Litecoin, which is only 408 days old, and we're already standing on $152 per coin. Guys, this thing is going to blow up. It's going to make the stocks that are already huge, like Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, old stocks. It's going to make them look really small in years and years to come, because we are about to have a hyperbolic increase in cryptocurrencies that the world has never ever seen before. I get goosebumps if I just think about the knowledge that I have now with regard to cryptocurrencies, and I see where these things are going. I see no huge downside. I see increase, and an increase that makes me say that, listen, we're going to have certain coins will have 1,000% increase. Certain coins will have a 30,000% increase over years and years to come. And Litecoin will definitely reach the point where it's going to have a $20,000 price point per Litecoin. Guys, those figures are true. They are going to happen. If we look at Litecoin now, where I said about a month ago that Litecoin is going to reach $1,483, I want to show you what I show. But also remember that you as an investor in Litecoin need to have a little bit more patience. If you wait 30 days or 60 days or 90 days just to have enormous profits, it doesn't matter, guys. So be patient, hold your coins, invest smart, but I'm going to show you something really remarkable, and this is why I say that you must not get out of Litecoin. And remember, this video is not financial advice, okay? I'm only going to show you what I see and why I am holding Litecoin. Now, as I go into, this is the big picture that I want to show you on my screen, and then I'm going to go into this little end here, right at the end where it says 1 day. So you can see that I'm on the 5-day mark here, and I'm going to zoom in to show you what happened with Litecoin right at the beginning when it first started. And this will actually open your eyes really when you see what I see, and you start to see the big picture. Okay, now way back in the day when I wanted to invest in Litecoin, and I should have, but I never did, exactly like people now should invest in Litecoin when it's $152 and going to 160, 180, then 200, then 300, and then $1,000. People are going to look back when it's $1,000 and say, listen, I could have got into Litecoin when it was $150. Okay, the same, we're looking back now and saying we should have bought when it was $3. Okay, now look at this. To go from this low to this high took about 34 days, and if you look at that percentage gain, that was 84%. Okay, let's move on. Now we look at February 13. This is in 2017. We look at from that point there right to that high point there. Okay, we look at that point there, and we say that Litecoin took 78 days to achieve that. Okay, now look at what happened here. It took 1 day for Litecoin just to push up and reach a high point, and another 1 day just to reach the high point. And remember this, as I will come back to this at some point, or we can just carry on and I'll show you what I see. Okay, so pay very, very close attention here. Now, this little move here for Litecoin to actually go up, let's say to either that little point there, was approximately 242%. Okay, the next parabolic move, and have a look at this, guys. It was one day and another big day there. So 1 day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So within a week, it just jumped up completely. Okay, and that is 242% that it jumped up. The next hyperbolic move, in my opinion, was another 256% here. Let's actually make it from about there. So you look at about 185%, where it actually went up right down to that little wick there. And that again took approximately, if we look at this, you look at approximately 29 days. That was a little bit longer there, 90 days. So you look at 34 days, 89 days, 29 days. Again, folks, this is not exactly to the T, but I just want to get a point across. Okay, now another 43 days to go from this little low point there to that little high point there, and you look at that, 110%. And that, although this took 6 days, this one here took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Okay, so keep that in mind, 110%. Now we get to this one here. Took 6 days again from that low point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days to reach that high. And again, if you look at this, it took 66 days. And then the last one that we had was 106 days, more or less, from that low point there, approximately there, and it went up to approximately 656%. And again, that took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to move up. Now let's go to where we are today, and I'll quickly show you what I see here. Okay, now look at that move there, 656%. If we say this is 656% again, now remember, this took 90 days, 89 days. Don't you think that we are well overdue for a move upwards? Okay, so we look at about here 98. Let's make that 180 days perhaps. From our calculations, we say it should happen close to that point there, which we say it could be 151 days. And if I were to draw a line, we can possibly say that that could be the line where we could find a hyperbolic move. A hyperbolic move is anything there, if you look at this line on the outside here, where it's going up and then suddenly takes 6 days to do the same movement that is done there. Now, if that were to go up to, let's say, that point there, you look at $1,000 Litecoin. But if you look at a more probability, you can probably say that we could experience this. In effect, what I'm saying is that we could perhaps go like this and suddenly just have a hyperbolic move up, which will propel Litecoin to that phase here. And this is why we initially said that our initial target for Litecoin was 1483. Now that target, we initially thought that that target could easily be achieved around about that level there. Okay, so if we are there now and we say, okay, right, let's say we move that timeline on, then we could easily say that this looks plausible, even if you take the same percentage there that Litecoin has moved up there and go out and break up here somewhere. So folks, in our opinion, what we believe is that between now and the 20th of May is something that we need to carefully have a look at. And at this point in time, I'm very cautious to give you a time frame. Everything in the cryptocurrency market, in our opinion, has probably been slowed down by between 4 and 6 weeks. And this happened exactly at the point of 10th of March, where we predicted the breakout for Bitcoin to happen exactly on a certain date and time, and it actually did not happen. As a matter of fact, it's actually really interesting, and I just spoke to one of our clients today, who was in our office today, and we had a look at Bitcoin, and we exactly at 0.000 hours -4 UTC time, which is the New York time, Bitcoin literally went and broke down on the 10th of March instead of going up as what we predicted. Now that, folks, that's manipulation. That's something that we do not have control over. And exactly the same with Litecoin at the moment. You know, we thought that Litecoin would have been at least by $1,000, well, at least about $600 now, and heading here into, let's say, the end of this month, that we could have a breakout to around about $600, $700, and eventually $1,000. But in my opinion, we look at another 25 days, it could go sideways for a while and maybe break out here later in June. But what I can tell you this is that what you see on the screen here, and I want to reiterate this is the move that Litecoin is going to do. Now, whether that is prolonged and it stretches out, if it stretches out, it just means that Litecoin is going to go higher. Okay, you can't go lower than that. You know, the point will actually just become higher if the time stretches out, and then you look at $1,900 Litecoin eventually, and then that is close to June, July, August. But I tell you now that we believe that this can be very, very close to around about that figure, and let's just keep that hyperbolic segment in there. Now remember, this is only for, you know, this is not a technical analysis, folks. This is just a visual to show you where we see Litecoin going. Now let me show you what we see way ahead. Now if I were to delete all these little, let's see, we can delete them just a little bit here, just to clear up the screen a little bit. So, because I want to give you an understanding of where we are heading. Okay. Now, on your screen, what you can see here is the graph for Litecoin. And remember, okay, let me just go through this. Maybe perhaps I'll show you what we see here, and then we'll carry that on. Okay. Okay, first of all, what we saw here is a breakout. Okay, we saw another breakout there. As we head into this, we saw another breakout there. We saw another one there. Okay. Okay, so you saw the breakout there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's another breakout, and you saw, this is going to be really interesting when you actually have a look at what I want to show you here. Now we saw another upswing here where it broke down, went sideways, and then suddenly there it breaks up. Okay, now, so that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we've got to number 7. Now what we are saying is that if history repeats itself and we have another one of those, it's going to go like this. Okay, there. Okay, there you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now this is still where our target is. Now I know a lot of trading analysis guys will hit me here on YouTube and say this is really bad technical analysis. This is not intended to be technical analysis. This is just to show you plain and simple what we see. If this from the $3 point went up to where it is now $152, which is now there, sure to impress that this will actually go up and break that point and break the all-time high really easily. What if this then does the same, comes down there and does the same kind of ratio, and we look here at March 2019, and let's squash that up again, and it's becoming really, really small. And what if it does it again, and the same proportional, and it goes up to 619 or $6,000 a coin? And what if going further into the year that it does that again, and does that again? And the reason I'm doing this, guys, is just to show to you now that why that is really, really important, that you actually just be a little bit patient. Because what if this then breaks out again and does that same move, and there we are at the $20,000 point, which is not impossible when you think about this. For this now we have to go to the week range, and when you look at all these assimilate together and you look at it from a larger viewpoint, you can literally see that it's not impossible for Bitcoin actually to reach those levels, and it makes it actually really, really little on the chart. Now let's just zoom in a little bit and look at the volume just on the weekly chart. I may have to go there to the day chart just to show you a little bit there. Okay, let's just have a look at the other one here quickly. Okay, to get back to this one now, if you look at this, where we had that, I think that was about an 84% rise, we had volume coming in there. Okay, now you can literally, let's just take this one away there, and you can literally see the volume there. Then at that point there we had about 180% increase, but every single time we actually had a look at volume that actually increased, and there we go again to huge volume there. What is missing here between this time frame of, let's say, around about where are we now, around about 45 days around, is only the volume. Now one of the top things that you need to look at here, and this is something that will give you a warning signal for you to know that Bitcoin is due to break up, is if we see these long weeks of volume coming in here, and it'll start similar to that. It will go up and down, up and down, and similar to that. Now this volume here should actually probably outshine that top, and once that happens, you'll see that Litecoin will simply just break out. So yes, we are keen to look at Litecoin breaking out around about, again, I don't want to put a time frame in, but for me personally, I'm looking at around about the 20 May. Between now, which is now the 23rd, between the next 4 weeks is something that we really need to have a look at Litecoin. You know, I believe that we are going to go up around about here to the $300 mark perhaps, because if you look at the Bitcoin chart just quickly, you can see that we predicted Bitcoin to go down. We called the low around about 6500 mark. Since then it's shot up, and we were talking about the, let me just see why that is, just make that white. We talked about the pattern of advances in our records or reports, and we said these are pattern of advances, and then it will break out and it will go like that the whole time. So that in effect is our pattern of advances. We expect another one there as we head up to the $11,000 mark. And again, for you guys that are subscribers, just remember that we said that the 35% mark is our target. That should bring us to about $11,000. So if Bitcoin goes up, you can expect that Litecoin will go up as well. So Litecoin could go up somewhere around this range here, breaking at resistance of 239, go up to about 250, maybe 300. And lo and behold, if all these things took about a day, 2, 3 or 6 days, like what we mentioned in, I think it's in this one where we said, we mentioned the days, where we said that Litecoin literally in 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just broke that level of resistance there, and it's happened over the period of time, over the historical charts, where we also had 1 2 3 for 5 days, 1 2 3 for 5 days, 1 2 3 for 5, and it just within 3 to 5 days it simply just breaks out. Now, don't be that guy when Litecoin gets to this level where you say, oh, I've doubled my profit, now I'm going to sell out. Maybe sell half of your Bitcoin, or Litecoin rather, and keep the rest in there, because at any given time this can actually break out. Now we expect a little bit more sideways movement, but somewhere around this line here we could have an impact where it could actually go up similar to that. So if that is being duplicated 656%, let me just put that in the chart there, from about there, 656, you look at about there, which is about 1,100. So we could easily see it in this range, guys. It's to be honest with you, it's a question of time, you know. So it's just a question of time. We need to be patient. I can't see any reason that Litecoin will not reach this target somewhere there above $1,000 literally in the next 4, 5, 6 weeks. Again, guys, just be patient. So yeah, there you have it. This is the historical chart. We believe that this is going to happen. I've got faith in you to hold your coins. I've got faith in you when you invest. We're doing the best we can. And we wish you good luck and have a blessed day. Thank you. It's Marius here.